Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chioma of Chioma Stitches, and today we're going to be making this really cute trendy top that you are seeing on the top left corner of the video, and it's made of Ankara. So I love the dress and I thought I should make one and film it for you guys. So stay to the end of the video and don't forget to subscribe. So guys, I have this leftover fabrics. They are multicolored and I'm going to be using all of them, and as you can see from the picture above, it came out really nice. So let's get into it. The measurement I need is my shoulder measurement and my shoulder to my underbust. So that's what I'm going to be measuring out here, and my shoulder to my underbust is 13.5 inches, so I'm just going to be using 13 inches. So I'm going to be marking out the 13 inches, and for my shoulder measurement I'm using 8 inches instead of 7.5 inches, and that's because half inch will be used to join the flare all around. So I'm going to be creating a box with this 8 inches by 13 inches. And for the neckline, I'm going to be going in 3.5 for the shoulder line, and then I'm going to be coming down for the depth. I'm coming down by 8 inches. So yeah, I'm using 8 inches depth, and so from there I am going to use my curved ruler to mark it, because I don't want it to come out straight. So I just want it to have a little bit of curve, not too straight. So I'm going to be using my curved ruler to curve it in like this. Okay, now I'm going to be marking out the other layers of the neckline, and to do that I'm going to be using the full 8 inches obviously for the shoulder line, and then from the full length I'm just going to be making dots, and I don't want it to be straight as well, so I'm just going to keep making dots, curved dots all around, and then I'll connect it with my curved ruler because I don't want it to come out like straight. So I'm just going to be curving it in little by little and using the ruler to guide me, and this is because I don't want it to be straight and then have a sharp end or a sharp side. I want to follow through with the marker and ruler like this, and just follow it through so that it will have this kind of friendly curved look. As you can see in the picture, it came out nice. So like when you want to do yours, of course you're allowed to be more creative and try something new. Okay, so long as you get the same outcome or something similar. In fact, every designer's mistake is a new design, so go ahead and do whatever you want. And so I'm going to be marking 1 inch down for the shoulder slanting, and I'm going to be connecting it to like 2.9 inches from the neckline, not the 3.5 that I marked. So I'm marking out another 2.9. That's where I'm going to trace the shoulder slanting to, but I'll be cutting it from the 3.5 I marked earlier. Now this is because of course it's a dress and it has to have that shoulder slanting. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut it out, and also remember that so long as it's a dress that has a shoulder, you have to consider the shoulder slanting so that the dress will relax very well on the shoulder line. So now I'm going to go ahead and transfer this pattern paper to fabric, and my fabric is in pieces. It's not enough, so I'm going to go ahead and fold it into 4 places and try and manage my fabric to be able to get this right. Now if your fabric is enough for you to fold it just into 2, please go ahead and do that, and there will be no need for any joining in the middle of the neckline. But for mine, my fabric is not enough, so I had to do it and add half an inch so that I can join the neckline, because it is not enough. My fabric is not enough, so that's what we are seeing me do, adding half an inch all around. Now for the back piece, like I said, I don't want the depth of the back piece to be the same depth with the front, so I'm going to go up from the back piece like 3 inches. So I'm going to mark the 3 inches, and then from that 3 inches I'm going to just curve in from the 3 inches. I'm just going to go ahead and use my marker to create another line for the back piece, so since the back piece is now higher than that of the front piece, we're going to be extending the neckline to the place where we stopped, and then also include the half an inch for joining for this back piece. And then from that place I'm going to also use my ruler to mark like a straight line to give us that slanting that's at the back. So even though the front is kind of curved, you can decide to curve in the back piece as well, but I just went ahead and used a straight ruler to make it connect it. So now we're going to go ahead and cut out this pattern so that we can now start sewing. To cut it out, I had to first cut out the back piece first, and then take out the back pieces, and then use the same pattern, then place back, return my pattern on the fabric, and then cut out the front pieces. Now I'm going to be using the main fabric that I've cut out to cut out the lining piece, and the lining is also in pieces, and for that I'm going to also be cutting it the way I've cut the main fabric, and then we'll now go ahead and start joining. Now I'm just going to indicate this is the back and this other part is the front, and if you're looking at it, you see that the back has a shallower depth than the front, more like the front has a more steeper depth than that of the back neckline. So this is what I'm going to go out. I'm just going to sew a straight line here, sew a straight line here as well for the back, so that when you open it up, you will see this V effect, and this is what we're working towards. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the both of them and the lining as well. And now to cut out the rest of the fabrics, I am measuring this one and I'm getting 12 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the parts that are not aligning and just make it straight 12 inches, and just cut out the excesses. The ones that are not aligned, I'm just going to cut out because the fabrics are in pieces. Now the ones that are not complete, I'm going to be joining them with their pieces. So just laying out the 12 inches I've cut out on the other fabric, so I can use it as a pattern to cut it out as well. Now I'm pinning the ones that are in pieces together. Now for these longer ones, in the little sketch I made it to be longer so that it will be the ones that I will place in the center front and center back. So I'm going to join them and then cut it out into slants for the part so that it will match the sides of the short, the ones that are not as long. So I'm just going to pin all of them together so I can sew them together. Now the sketch I made was not so visible to the camera. I'm sorry about that because I made it with pencil and it was not so bold. So I'm going to go ahead and pin all of them and then join all of them into a big long circle. Now for the neckline part, I'm just going to be using the main fabric as my pattern to cut out the lining. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead to sew them. As you can see, I've sewn and ironed it flat and ironed it opening the same line. So I've sewn it and ironed it. I've done the same thing to the lining pieces. So because this one now is the back piece, this is the one we extended, I'm going to be using the lining piece to sew the neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the neckline and do the same thing for the front piece as well. So I'm going to also use the lining piece to sew the neckline. So I'm going to sew this neckline for this front, and when I'm done, I'm going to join the shoulder of this front and the back before we can start joining the other part. And then this is the down part of the top. So I have sewn all of them together. So I've made a complete circle, if I may call it, with it. So there's no opening anywhere. I joined all the pieces from on every edges, joined everything together. And like I was trying to explain when I was cutting it, this Ankara that is the same. So this one is going to be the middle of the front and the middle of the back, that is center front and the center back, while this will be the sides. So what I'm going to go and do now is choose the part side where I want to use as the part that will attach to the neckline part. I'm just going to go and run a loose stitch on it. You know, the kind of loose stitch that you can pull together. So I'm going to run the loose stitch all around it, so that I'll bring it back, and after sewing this neckline, bring it back, then we can use it to gather it and create the effect of the flare that we're trying to create. So we just gather it all around from the middle back to the middle front. All right, so here is the neckline and part of the body that we cut out. I've used the lining piece to turn it inside out and join the shoulder. If you look closely, you see the top stitching line. I used the top stitches to keep it in place. And might I add that the only reason why I had to join these places is because the fabric I had was not enough to go around the way I wanted. Now if you have a fabric that can have this, that is long enough, you don't need this. You may not have to add this opening. So this opening here that I had to close up is because my fabric was not long enough. Okay, so I just used pieces of the fabric I have to do this. I just want to bring this trending style to you guys. That's why I had to ruffle off the fabric I have to do this. Okay, so you will see the difference between the front and the back. I made the front lower than the back, and that is why when I was transferring from the fabric, I had to go up a little bit to extend the back part so that the back will not be as low as the front. Okay, that's it. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is go ahead and use this. Then this is the fabric pieces we join together. You can use the quantity you want, like the fuller it is, the better. So I'm going to be gathering this on it. So what I'm going to do now is open this, keep it in a way that I can have access to the right side. Okay, now like I said, I want to use this part. I want to use this part as the middle for the front and the middle for the back. So to achieve that, here, so I'm just going to find the middle of this place, the middle like this. So this is like the middle. Okay, and I'm going to be taking this middle, and this is the front. I can start with the front or start with the back, and I'm just going to hold it down with a pin. So the plan now is to pin it at strategic places so that when you gather it, the gather will even out all around, so that the gather will not concentrate only on one side. That is the reason why I am going to pin it in the middle, for the front, middle, back, and pin it at the shoulder, and maybe somewhere around here as well. Okay, so that's the plan. Okay, now that I have this, and the plan is to use this part. So this part as well, I'm going to find the middle here, and this middle I am going to be pinning it to the middle of the back as well. So as you can see, I am pinning it right side to right side, because that's how I'm going to be sewing it. Okay, now let's find the middle here. So from here, holding it down like so, I have to find the middle here. So this middle, I'm going to now bring it forward and pin it to the shoulder. Okay, now if you look closely, you see that I've run a loose stitch. I told you guys I'm going to run a loose stitch all around that we're going to gather to create the ruffles around it for the effect we are looking for. So here, this is it. Now you can also go ahead, go as much as you can, come down here, find another middle here, hold this place down together, find the middle and pin it. All this is so that when you are gathering it, the gather will even out. That is the purpose of all this pinning. Okay, so that will spread the gather all around. Okay, now let's find the middle of this place as well. So I'm going to gather here together like so, find the middle and pin it. And pin it. Okay, now that I've pinned it, I want to believe you guys know how to gather ruffles and gather do gathers basically. So in case you don't know how to, let me show you. Okay, so now that I have created all of this, I'm just going to start pulling gently. Pull one side of the thread that you've gathered, you just pull it and create the ruffles around that area. Okay, just gather and pin. You can gather it and pin it all around. Now this one I'm going to gather all here, and as you are gathering it, you are spreading the gather all around so that it will even out. By the way guys, I want to use this opportunity to thank all our new subscribers. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for the support. And for the old subscribers, the returning subscribers, you guys are my rock. I love you so much. Without you, I would not be doing this. So thank you guys for subscribing And if you are coming across this page for the first time, please do not forget to give us a thumbs up and also subscribe. So here I am pinning this down like so. I'm going to go ahead and pin all of this place as well. So here, now I'm going to go ahead and gather this all around. Gather it and then sew it a straight stitch, and our dress is ready. So let me gather it completely and show us what I'm saying. Okay guys, so see, if you look closely, you will see that I have sewn it, and so I've sewn them all around, as you can see. Now this is time for the big reveal. Let me show you what we have been working towards all this while. See, this is it. This is the top we have been working towards here. So this is the top. See the effect all of this has given us. Now the reason why I made this one to be in the middle is because it's longer, so it will cover the body very well. And then the shorter part, I made it to be on the shoulder part. So that was just the end game. Okay, so this is the front, as you can see, because the front is obviously lower, has a lower neckline than the back. And this is the back part. Okay, so now what's left to do now is to hem the edges of this place, to hem the edges. So this is it. So do well to let me know when you try yours. Join our Facebook group, Creative Tailoring and Styling, so that when you make yours, you can post them. So this is it. This is what we've been working towards. So I'm going to go ahead and hem the edges with a 1/4 inch folded twice. When I hem the edges, I'm going to iron the edges, and then I will try this baby on and show you guys how it looks. I can't wait to try it. This is, instead of making the basic normal flare, the normal flare that you cut 360 and wear it as a neck on the neckline like this, this is another method you can use that is quite interesting. So thank you guys for staying to the end of the video, and please like, share and comment. Stay tuned for my next tutorial guys. Bye bye.